Good girl. Gracie girl and I are out here on a nice fall day in Vancouver, Washington, United States of America. And we are running around Fort Vancouver. This is the Hudson Bay outpost back during the fur trading days for the whole entire West Coast, all the way from Alaska down to California. So there's a lot of historical significance here. The Hudson Bay Company is actually a London-based company, and they came out here and set up shop so the businessmen and high society types back in London and around the world can wear beaver felt hats and look really fashionable. And once they came up with a different type of fabric for hats, the fur trade died off along with all the beavers out here. So we're running around today. We want to work on our fitness. We're returning from a stroke. Make Matt great again is the slogan. And so I already posted a video about my stroke. You can watch it up here in the links. You can get the whole story of what transpired. And this video today, I want to run around out here with Gracie, and I want to talk to you about my heart surgery, this hole in my heart, the PFO is what they call it. And I want to talk about what I experienced. And so if you've come to this video and you've had a stroke and you're gonna have this surgery, you may want to watch it. I went into this surgery completely blind, and I want to tell you my experience. And now I'm back to training, exercising 2 weeks after the surgery, so there is hope. And this airport, this airfield, it's called Pearson Airfield, and it was an Army Air Corps airfield back in the day. And there's some kind of significance here with the history. The Soviets had attempted to fly from Russia to San Francisco, and they were trying to do something that's never done before. They're trying to fly over the top of the world across the North Pole because it's a shorter distance. Well, their aircraft was not up for the Arctic environment and was falling apart by the time they hit the Washington coast here. And they decided they needed to land this thing, so they found this airfield and landed it. And at the time, General Marshall of the United States Army, who was pretty instrumental in the World War II front, he was the chief of staff. He went out and greeted the pilots, brought them in. They got them suits actually so they could do a press conference, fed them, bathed them, and gave them a lot of hospitality. So General Marshall brought him back to his post, and we're gonna run by his house, his post at the time here at Fort Vancouver. And he brought him in, fed him, clothed the pilots. This was like big stuff back in the day. It was like the Super Bowl trying to fly across the world. And so there was tons of media showed up here to interview these pilots, and he went out and got them suits because they had been in their flight suits and had not showered for a while. And some believe that that courtesy that he gave to the Russians, to the Soviets, helped him later on as he had a higher level position in the US government dealing with the Soviets after World War II. And of course, General Marshall was instrumental in helping reconstruct Europe after war-torn devastation that encountered the continent, and it was called the Marshall Plan actually. So yeah, let's keep running, Grace. Okay. So now we're making our way towards the officers' row to show you these houses. I'm going to slow down and walk through this field and talk to you about my heart surgery, because that is the point of this video. And so I didn't really know what was going to happen with this heart surgery. I was told I'd go in and out the same day unless there was a complication, and that they would put catheters up my legs, deploy a patch between the center of my heart. I fully expected that I would go under anesthesia. So at about a week prior to the surgery, I started coming down with a cold, of course, Murphy's Law. And I was panicked that the surgery would be canceled and postponed because I have a cold. For the first time in my life, I actually rested with a cold because I'm retired now and I have to deal with the matrix and let this flight go by. Portland International Airport is right behind me, so if you hear big jets, that's where they're landing. So for the first time in my life, I decided to rest and hydrate. I was doing everything I could to get better for the surgery, and I did get better. Believe it or not, it works. Rest and hydrate, get some sleep. And we showed up to the procedure. I did not know really what was going to happen. So if you're going through this procedure, here's what's going to happen. They're going to shave your whole entire groin, and then the procedure, they rolled me into the emergency room, or I'm sorry. So if you're going to have this procedure, plan on your whole entire groin being shaved, and you're going to be rolled into the operating room. And this operating room, it was at the cardiac department. Man, I knew it was serious business when I rolled in there. It looked like something from NASA. It was just all this equipment. There must have been 8 or 9 other medical workers in there, nurses, techs, my cardiac doctor, who's the surgeon. Just, it was serious business. And I was sitting around waiting, like, when am I gonna have the anesthesiologist come and speak to me? Because I was like, I felt I was pretty good to have the surgery because my cold was subsided. And I'm there, and one of the nurse techs or one of the medical workers said, hey, you're gonna be awake during this procedure. We're gonna just give you some local drug down in your groin so you don't feel the pain of the catheter. And then we're gonna give you a little bit of fentanyl. You'll be awake the whole time. And that was a complete shock to me. I was worried about anesthesia, and it didn't even happen. So in my case, no anesthesia. I was awake the whole time. I was conscious. I never felt any pain. I never felt high or anything like that. Fentanyl, I mean, this gave me a super micro dose. Of course, I'm in a medical setting. And man, now I got curious. People asked me, were you scared? I wasn't scared. Man, look at all these people that are here to help me. And I was actually curious. So I started just listening to them talk. I could just kind of see one of the medical workers and then just kind of a partial portion of the surgeon. I couldn't, lean up and watch, but man, it took 25 minutes. It was a total of 25 minutes, if you can believe that. And I was wheeled out of that operating room, and I had to stay still for several hours because of the sutures in my leg. So they did 2 sutures, left and right, of my groin, and one of the sutures deployed this patch, and the other suture was some type of imaging device so the doctor could see what exactly he's doing. And they were just wanting to make sure that those sutures were healed up. And once they were convinced with that it was looking good, they did an ultrasound of my heart. I saw this device. It was right in the middle of my heart, and it all looked good, and the doctor gave me the green light to leave the hospital and return home. And I had a little incident when I returned home. I kind of jumped up into our bed, which is high, and I started bleeding. They put me on blood thinners. I'm going to be on blood thinners for 6 months because of this device. And dude, I started bleeding pretty bad, but we stopped it. A little bit of first aid skill set, and other than that, just took like another 4 or 5 days, taking it easy. Started walking, started hiking. We went to the post-op, and I've got the green light to start running, doing whatever. And it was really like 10 days. And prior to that, to be honest, I did a hike up near Mount Hood. So super quick surgery, nothing to really be afraid of. Everybody there was professional. They were on top of their game. Everything went well. And just another guardian angel watching over me. And I'm doing well now. So apparently some people can have AFib, and I think that's one reason why they're giving me these blood thinners until this patch seals up. But the plan is 6 months from now, this patch will seal up, and I'll go back to the office, the cardiac office. They're going to do an ultrasound, confirm everything's looking good. They're going to do a bubble test where they try to send air bubbles or bubbles of some sort from my right side of my heart to my left side of the heart, which is what they believe causes stroke. And if it's sealed up, boom, I'm done. I'm off blood thinners. I'll probably be taking baby aspirin and statin for the rest of my life. But yeah, that's the procedure. It was nothing. Sometimes there's nothing to fear but fear itself. And yeah, so if you're going to have this surgery, don't worry about it, man. It went super smooth. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Now, leading up to it, I was doing whatever I could to try to be in the best shape I could physically. I probably pushed a little too hard, and that's why I got sick. And man, since I had this stroke, I basically have been inactive, and I gained weight. I didn't gain a bunch of weight. I think I weighed like 185, 183. And so I was like, you know what? I gotta start losing some weight. I gotta get lean. I got all these factors against me. I wanna run, I wanna do this stuff. I don't need excess weight. So I've been losing weight. I've been pretty successful with that. I'm down to 166 pounds. You know what's fascinating too? We went to the post-op and they did my blood pressure. My blood pressure's the lowest it's ever been in my life. I've cut out all salt. I started taking beetroot powder. You know, on paper, I'm looking great. You know, I have a healthy BMI, body mass index. My blood pressure's low. My resting pulse is 41. I also they did a cholesterol, more in-depth cholesterol test the day of the surgery. I didn't know that, but the test results came back, and man, my LDL, which they call the bad cholesterol, was 39. So, I mean, I'm doing well. Apparently I have a high density LDL, which could cause you a problem, but I got a message back from my doctor, the family doctor, saying, hey, you're good to go, man. This is excellent LDLs. So right now we're pushing forward to get healthy and get strong, make Matt great again, and get back out there. And you know, I turned 50, I retired, and I almost died. So now I got to get out there, and you know, it was all for nothing, it seems like. So now I got to maximize every day and try to stay healthy and have longevity. So as I age, I can keep doing stuff. I can run with my dogs. I can pick up a dog food. I can, you know, I can go up a mountain. I could do a bear crawl. I don't really care about what my 10K time is or my half marathon. Nobody cares about your PRs except maybe your mom, but she doesn't really care. So we're gonna keep running here, and that's the story on the heart surgery. And we're starting to train because Gracie and I have signed up for a 25K trail race that allows dogs at Deception Pass State Park. It's up in the Puget Sound. It's gonna could be real nasty. It's December 15th, could be nasty weather. It's gonna be, think of the Washington coast, rough mountains. Could be some horrible weather, it could just be beautiful. So we gotta start training for that. It's gonna be about 3,500 feet of vert for a 25K. So we're out here, today's our first true training run. We're checking out some of this new gear we have for running with the dog. Behind me is the Marshall House. It was built in 1886, and now it's part of the National Historic Trust, so you can get a tour there if you come to Vancouver, Washington. Free tour, by the way. So this house is the Grant House, as in President Grant or General Grant from the Civil War era. He was actually stationed out here at Fort Vancouver. So it's a lot of history here in Southwest Washington. It's quite interesting. So we have the sun coming out now, which is rare on a early November day. We're gonna keep running, enjoying the leaves before they drop off. And hopefully you're enjoying this video. Going forward, it's gonna be all about training, exercise, health, and then we're gonna get back into outdoor adventures. We have some races planned. I'll talk about those in the future. Some adventures, some cross-country skiing. My wife's going to be coming along more on some of these adventures. And so we're gonna get out and we're gonna live life, like I said, because at any moment it can all be taken away. And so go out there, escape the matrix, and thanks for watching.